This is episode 3 of Inside Voices, and today we're going to be discussing why you shouldn't create a website for free. I'm Fizz Bingham, digital partner here at RBH.
And I'm Craig Jones, Head of Development.
And we're going to jump straight into this. So, free website platforms out there. You can hardly miss a GoDaddy TV ad. Used to be a bit of a swear word in the office for us. What are your views?
I think it's great for someone who's less tech savvy. It takes the pain away from purchasing a domain name, connecting an SSL certificate. But then as the business or brand grows, I feel that the limitations start to show.
Definitely. And certainly they say it's for free, but actually if you want anything else above the very basic package, you suddenly start paying for it, don't you? There's a platform out there for everyone, but it's really about working out what you need that website to do now and tomorrow before you make a decision which platform you're going to go for.
Scoping from the beginning is an important part of every project, so you can see the big picture, and it gives you opportunity to pick the right platform with design, performance and accessibility in mind from the start.
Build your website for free. Big headline, and then actually in the T's and C's, all you really get with that is basic CMS builder, maybe an email package, maybe some social media integration, and then everything on top of that you've got to pay for.
Absolutely. They all call them different things. Extensions, apps or plugins, they're all the same thing really.
So GoDaddy obviously was a hosting company and has sort of explored, moved, migrated into the website builder foray. We also have Wix. A couple of clients over the last years have come to us with a Wix site that we've had to look after for them.
Challenging when, as I said, as they want to grow and they says, can you just bolt this on or bolt that on? It ends up being a bit of a bodge job. It takes the design away from the branding. It all becomes a bit clunky.
But lots of big brands actually have Wix as part of their overall digital landscape. So the likes of Adidas and even New York Times use Wix for some of their blogging and promotional microsites.
Maybe when you need a quick landing page for maybe incentives or offer codes, landing pages for maybe creative teams, designers, where they can just showcase their work. It's easy drag and drop for them. Data capture as part of a plugin or an app.
Yeah, so like if Coca-Cola had got a competition running with, another company and actually had to go on and redeem the code, use your barcode, and out of that you got, free cinema tickets or free entry to a theme park. That's almost the perfect environment for us to use a Wix or a promotional microsite.
So you might get some plugins and apps, widgets, etc., that help integrate with certain platforms, but you wouldn't necessarily have like this smaller business that have very bespoke stock level integration, for example. You would need a specific developer to build that.
And whilst we're talking about these platforms, let's talk about Squarespace. So I think Squarespace has been on a bit of a journey. What I remember them being very much focused on being the website for F&B outlets, restaurants. That's how I remember them, 10, 15 years ago. They've suddenly have seemed to have targeted creators, entrepreneurs, and I think even their platform talks about for the dreamers, the builders and the creators. Squarespace feels like a platform that's really been embraced by creative industries, whether that's individuals demonstrating their portfolio and wanting to showcase that. What are your experiences?
It allows a lot more plugins to allow you to expand, such as e-commerce shops. It takes the pain of payment gateway away from someone who's less experienced. It's great if you just want to sell that product, similar to Shopify. Shopify is great if you want to just sell a product, but again, struggles with limitations around creating a brand.
Yeah. So we've had experience of that, haven't we? It allows for an e-commerce functionality. So I can understand why appeals to that certain audience. When we've done our research, we couldn't see a huge number of brands using Squarespace in terms of consumer brands that we would all know. No, that's just a no.
No, that is correct. Shopify is called Liquid, and they've just moved to JSON 2.0 template.
We've had experience building Shopify sites for a couple of our clients. Brilliant in terms of the functionality that you get there from e-commerce, loads of stock integrations, discounts, basket functions that you possibly wouldn't get in other bolt-on e-commerce modules. What are your views on Shopify?
Yeah, great for selling a product. If you've got products to sell, they are great for just selling those with reporting and statistics. But it struggles with creating like a brand around that, really. You do have access to the core templates, but again, not necessarily the cart functionality. So it kind of switches between your brand design and their design. However, that way it does take the element of PCI compliance away from a less experienced user.
So we've got really big name examples of people that use Shopify. Victoria Beckham, Kylie Jenner, I think Gymshark were either on it or they've got a bespoke version of it now. We've also had the bad side of Shopify where a client's come to us and wanted to shop online, and actually the core function of the Shopify platform delivers that, but the additional extras that they suddenly want on top of that, some of those more interactive brand elements, has been a bit of a struggle for us, hasn't it?
Bespoke login areas, you just get the basic Shopify login to view your order.
We know that there are some big brands using these platforms, but how they're using them is quite different to how someone who may be watching this video might be wanting to use the platforms for their whole site. We obviously haven't discussed WordPress yet. So I want to, for the record, put out there that I used to be a WordPress hater. But when we started working together, WordPress was very much a blogging platform, wasn't it? Fast forward now to 2024, where do we sit with WordPress?
Lots more plugins, lots more themes or tools to create themes. But then you've got to take on the responsibility of PCI compliance if you're running an e-commerce website. Or you can use hosting companies that are very WordPress focused, but then you do have limitations because you have to use their approved plugins to meet their performance needs.
So where I feel WordPress works really well for lots of our clients that we work with, it gives them that 100% content management. That's one of the things that I personally love about WordPress, is that you can edit absolutely everything that you want to. And I think that was possibly a reaction to how websites used to be built, where clients weren't able to update their website freely and easily. Web agencies making a lot of money out of always being the people that have to make those changes. So WordPress feels great for me there, but I think the flexibility that it now offers clients, and it's that ability to grow with them. So you can start off with a fairly small website, and then with the number of plugins and themes and integrations that you can now afford, you can suddenly have a robust website working on WordPress. There are some vulnerabilities though, aren't there, with WordPress?
As it's open source, you get a lot of script kiddies who will try and, I want to say attack or hack.
You can say hack and attack.
I don't want to say hack attack.
Yeah, hack attack.
Who will find vulnerabilities in the core platform or themes or plugins. So there's lots of updates ongoing all the time, which also means that you need to keep your server up to date as well.
And I think that's possibly where WordPress is open source and really easy to use. It's maybe a hidden aspect of it that, as you just said, got to keep it up to date, got to keep the theme up to date, got to keep plugins up to date, got to check compatibility, and then get that security level around the website as well.
So many websites I've seen that are just left after it's been launched, so they're not updated. They can get SQL injected and hacked.
So we obviously host and manage quite a few WordPress websites here, and we can see that there are cyber attacks or attempts to access the website across the world. What would your recommendation be for anyone who's thinking about using WordPress as their platform for their website?
A system administrator would help with any server support rather than trying to take it on yourself.
And there are some good plugins out there, aren't there?
Yeah, there's plugins that help with cybersecurity.
We love WordFence, and it gives that sort of transparency to show when there have been malicious attacks or attempts on the website. And I think that is something that, for me, puts WordPress above other of those free build platforms out there.
On my Wix website, should I have a little...
Yes, you should.
By all those hosted ones that we're talking about, it's their responsibility to keep your website up and running, so you don't have to. So you don't have to think about all those things. They would strictly approve the plugins and extensions, so they know exactly what is on their platform. With WordPress, although we are avid WordPress developers, anyone can install a PHP plugin, which can lead to vulnerabilities. I mean, I guess there's advantages and disadvantages of even WordPress. Plugins that are created by third-party developers don't really get vetted by a store.
So it's not like when you submit an app to the Apple Store, it goes through all of their approval processes. It's a bit of a Wild West.
Yeah, and that's where vulnerabilities can show. You could be installing a plugin with vulnerabilities.
Okay, well, let's get down to what some of those top tips are then. So if you're using WordPress and you're thinking about using a plugin, what would be the things that you would look for to make sure that this plugin is worth using and will be safe to use?
Yeah, number of downloads. You can check reviews, when it was updated last.
Oh, that's a big one, isn't it?
I usually download plugins that have been updated in the last 3 months.
And then compatibility with the version of WordPress that you're using.
You might be using different versions of WordPress. Again, you need to keep the core WordPress up to date.
What did the stats say? Should we talk some stats on WordPress?
So with PHP dominating the web with 75%, 43% are WordPress.
So that is a huge number, and that actually ends up being over 800 million websites currently on WordPress, which then explains why their plugins, the themes, the integrations far outweigh all of the other free website builder platforms that are out there.
There's such a huge WordPress community as well for developers and forums that we all kind of pull together to create what we need to.
And you've also found, haven't you, when we've actually needed something bespoke building, actually, whilst we can build that here, one of the easiest things to do is to contact the plugin developers directly and see what they've got in their roadmaps and how open they are to making changes to their core plugin.
Yeah, they are kind of restrictive still. They don't always... they tend to build plugins for everyone to use. It's very difficult to restrict it down to your client's needs, which is why we end up building our own bespoke plugins.
Well, I mean, that is a perfect segue into discussing the RVH website, built on WordPress, but with some bespoke development that we've done in addition to a plethora of other plugins that we're currently using. Do you want to talk through what we've done to make our website work for us?
Running our website through a few tools that we use, we found that it wasn't all accessible. So we recreated some bespoke plugins to allow those accessibility reports to be pushed up.
Yeah.
And the same with some SEO plugins. We found that accordions weren't being crawled by search engines. Therefore, we've redeveloped our accordions to allow search engines to crawl and not take away the design.
That's right. So obviously we work with lots of designers here who really want that clean interface and user experience, but we also know the performance of the website is absolutely crucial as well. So some of that bespoke development, which you can do on these open source platforms, has allowed this to be the best of both worlds. So the accordion allows there to be loads of crawlable text, but not necessarily to be shown to the user unless they select it. So it's those things that I think WordPress really harnesses, that developer community, but also allows additional development to be built on top of their core platform. So we've talked about 75% of websites being PHP based and 43% of those being WordPress. You suddenly drop down when we start looking at the likes of Wix, only 3.1%. And GoDaddy, which we discussed at the very start of this podcast, is less than 1%. From our findings, it's 0.5%. When we go back to the beginning of this podcast and we were saying, why would you build your website for free and why you shouldn't build your website for free? Actually, those stats are really demonstrating that there's a real place for these free website builders, but they're not for everyone. They're either people starting off a new business and wanting to have something up live quick without the hassle of doing the DNS and the emails and the social integration and all those things we've discussed earlier. But actually, in the big scheme of things, it's such a small percentage when you look at the number of websites that are currently available.
But GoDaddy is starting to swallow a lot of the market now. So they're going around buying all the hosting companies. So they're all under umbrellas of companies. I used to work for a hosting company in Bromsgrove.
Big up the crew.
We started in Digbeth and then we moved to Bromsgrove.
Well, why wouldn't you?
So they got brought out by WebFusion, and we used to use WebFusion when I started here. And then they got bought out by TSO Hosts. Now TSO Host has gone to 123 Reg. 123 Reg comes under Host Europe and GoDaddy. See?
You can't internet anymore.
I do.
Yeah, he does.
I do.
We haven't done who's doing it well and who isn't doing it well. I just don't know.
You know how you said Zara about the navigation and Patagonia you liked? Although it's a nice looking and navigational website, I ran it through the stats today and it ain't good.
Okay.
So although it's lovely looking and very navigational, and it's got all those elements of you know where to go, you know what to do. When you run it through the tools I use, performance was really bad, and accessibility was okay. I think Zara's is worse, but you expect that because their navigation was a mess. Zara as well, their SEO was down.
What's it?
But again, it's some of these brands, they don't need it. You know you want to go and purchase from Zara. You go and type in Zara and go to the website. You don't need the SEO around it.
But do you know what? Where I feel brands like M&S have really upped their game are their shopping feeds and their SEO. They flood the shopping feeds in terms of that top of page SEO, and Zara doesn't. And it just makes you wonder, like, how much additional traffic and purchases are those sorts of brands getting from being there? Whereas Zara's like, you either want it or you don't want it. Let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum, and that would be a bespoke build. Obviously, people who are looking at free website builders potentially aren't considering what a bespoke web build could get them. But what would you say the benefits are for building a website from scratch?
Where even WordPress, if we take the full scope or brief from the beginning, and even if WordPress doesn't cut it, I think that's where we decide to go bespoke, and where we don't have to think about picking a theme because we can just build whatever our creative team design.
We've had some clients that we've built bespoke websites for who have had very unique requirements, I'm going to say, in terms of what they want the website to be able to do. And I think that's where, if there's a clear brief about what you exactly know the website needs to do, what it doesn't need to do, then bespoke build is possibly more of an opportunity for you to get that dream to be a reality.
We'll be able to design our own database architecture and implement the tools around that architecture to meet the client's needs. We're able to integrate with any API that's available out there. Obviously, it's difficult to integrate with everything if they don't have the API to do so. But we're able to build workarounds, even if it's like uploading flat files and things like that, where you're not always able to do that in other platforms.
And I think that's probably the easiest way to liken this is designing and building your own house. You can have everything that you want it to do and be and look and behave, but there's a price associated with that. And I think that's where we're getting to with this conversation that we're having is, yes, budget and timings are always important, especially as we work as an agency, but it's getting that scope agreed at the very beginning of the project before you make those decisions is an absolute key to success with picking the right website platform.
Yeah, I like to see the big picture from the start so we can take the design, the platform, the performance, the accessibility, the hosting, all, take it on board all from the start and make the right decision so we know where the end goal is.
At this point, let's give some tips and do's and some don'ts in terms of before you start on your new website project journey, what should we be thinking about? First rule for us is scope out what you need the website to do. So let's go through what things should be covered in a scope.
We'd like to know all the CRM integrations so we can take that on board from the start. We don't want to just add it on at the end, and vice versa, what might not be available in the next couple of years and it ends up being taken away from the website. Whether you're going to host it yourself or whether you're going to have a systems administrator, server administrator, or us as an agency managing that hosting for you.
And how important are aspects such as SEO, accessibility, performance, because we know some of these website platforms really pride themselves in inbuilt tools. I know Squarespace have got inbuilt SEO tools in there. So really trying to list and prioritize key objectives for the site up front will really help pick the best platform for that website to sit on going forwards. Tip 2 is why are you doing this? Why are you thinking about a new website? What's making you want to do that? Is it because of your supplier? Is it because your business has changed? Or is it because your platform isn't doing what you need it to do?
As a developer, it's more of what's the problem you want us to fix.
And 3, as hard as it is to ignore those TV ads telling you can build a website for free with GoDaddy, try to put the cost aside and try to look at the investment that the website is going to give you now and in the future, and ask yourself if you would pay for, I don't know, signage or something for your business. Why wouldn't you pay that for your website? And I think we can probably agree you often get what you pay for.
By the time you've added up all the plugins that you've paid for to make this website work the way you want it to, I would have put more investment in a WordPress or bespoke build than bolt-ons to a free website. Nothing ever good comes for free. Number 1, scope. Number 2, question why you want a new website. And 3, put cost aside and really interrogate what you're getting from this system.
Perfect. Thanks, Craig. Thanks for listening.